The CanTrac is a wheeled device which attaches to a wheelchair, enabling that wheelchair to become much more mobile over rough and uneven terrain, which also allows the wheelchair to be pulled by a dog. It is called the CanTrac attachment, which stands for Canine Transportation, Recreation, Access, Companionship Attachment. My interest in this project stems mostly from my family's involvement with working sled dogs. Over time, this has caused me to think of other practical uses for working dogs. My interest in design and construction comes into play as well. My initial thought regarding my directed studies project was to design and build something with a practical use. This project therefore combined these two interests. I was also impressed when I saw Rick Hansen's wheelchair as he came through Canal during his Man in Motion tour. I remember the speed at which he traveled and the complexity of his wheelchair. Finally, the thought of developing something that would enable greater mobility for wheelchair-bound individuals is one that gives me a great sense of satisfaction. For a person dependent upon a wheelchair, the CanTrac attachment facilitates greatly increased mobility, speed, power, and range. Most importantly, the CanTrac attachment does not replace the hand-propelled wheelchair. Rather, it supplements the use of a traditional wheelchair. There are many advantages to having a dog pull a wheelchair, the most obvious being the increased speed, power, and range. With a dog, a wheelchair-dependent person is able to cover much greater distances than if he or she were to propel the chair by him or herself. A dog is powerful and is able to pull a wheelchair over obstacles such as curbs and logs, especially when assisted by the wheelchair user. In addition, a dog can move the wheelchair over gravel and loose dirt much more efficiently than the wheelchair user could propel him or herself. Dogs make excellent companions for wheelchair bound, and when properly trained, a dog can perform many tasks for his master, such as turning on lights, pushing elevator buttons, and carrying bulky loads in a backpack. Many people feel much more secure in the presence of their companion dog. The type of person who would use the CanTrac attachment would be a reasonably active wheelchair-bound person with average upper body strength. Although in testing the CanTrac, individuals with limited upper body strength have felt quite comfortable and have used the CanTrac effectively. Some situations where the use of the CanTrac attachment would be ideal could include small towns such as Quesnel, where the user lives reasonably near town and can take their CanTrac to work, shopping, and school, or a large university campus such as UBC, where there may be a large distance between different buildings and dormitories, or a suburban neighborhood where the user, most likely an adolescent, can drive on reasonably safe streets to school and to the park or wherever. Dogs often do not get enough exercise, and most dogs also like to pull. Put these two together, and the CanTrac attachment is very good for dogs. Dogs which would be used for the pulling of a wheelchair would be strong, hard-working, easily trained dogs who are bred for work. Examples of this type are Golden Retrievers, German Shepherds, Doberman Pinschers, as well as many other large breeds, even crossbreed dogs. These dogs should be both willing and able to pull a person weighing up to 200 pounds. If the dog has difficulty going up a hill or over a curb, or other obstacle, the user can easily help the dog by propelling the wheelchair in a normal manner. The CanTrac attachment incorporates a quick-release tow bar. If the wheelchair tips over or some other event threatens the dog, the user may easily reach down and pull a quick-release cord, which releases the tow bar on the dog, minimizing the possibility of any harm to the animal. The harness is made to be lightweight and comfortable enough for a dog to wear all day. There's a strap on the top of the harness which does not allow the tow bar to move from side to side or up and down, so the dog is not hit with the tow bar. There's no danger of the dog being overrun by the chair, as the chair has very effective brakes on the front wheels. The tow bar utilizes two firm shafts that further prevent the chair from overtaking the dog. The CanTrac attachment can in no way injure the dog pulling it. People in wheelchairs all too often get too much exercise, pushing their wheelchairs up hills and through rough surfaces such as grass or gravel. The CanTrac is an easy-to-attach, portable, sturdy, and inexpensive solution to these problems. It is easy to harness a dog to the CanTrac. Simply put the harness over the dog's head, pull the feet through the sides, and attach the belly band under the dog. Next, the tow bar can be mounted to the CanTrac from the wheelchair by inserting it into the hinges at the front of the CanTrac and pushing in 2 pins to hold the hinges together. Once this is accomplished, the dog can be hooked up to the tow bar using the snaps along the side of the tow bar, and the tow bar can be secured to the dog using the straps behind the dog's head. Now that the dog is harnessed up, the CanTrac can be attached to the wheelchair. Simply pull the wheelchair up behind the CanTrac, lock the wheels of the wheelchair, pull the CanTrac towards the wheelchair and mount it on the front caster mounts. Next, insert 2 pins, one on each side, through the holes in the CanTrac into the caster mounts, and push forward on the steering bar, thereby lifting the front wheels of the wheelchair up off the ground. Next, insert 2 more pins in order that the front wheels remain off the ground. If you're planning to go over rough or uneven terrain, the front wheels can be detached from the wheelchair and put in a bag on the back of the wheelchair. Once this is accomplished, the CanTrac is ready to go. The CanTrac is extremely helpful to a wheelchair user when going through town. It would be difficult to go all the way across town using a standard wheelchair, as it is quite a long distance. When the CanTrac is used, however, the trip is much quicker and easier. Once at his destination, the wheelchair user can unhook the dog, reattach the wheels, detach the CanTrac, and wheel around as he otherwise would.